Hello friends, how are you all? Welcome to our HTML training session. Today we will talk about HTML list. Just like you create list in your notebook, HTML lists are used to organize information on a web page. There are three types of list in HTML. First, order list. These are number lists like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Second, unordered list. These are bulleted lists, often using dots or squares. Lists in HTML make content more readable and organized, which is helpful for visitors. Here are some diagrams of lists to understand better. Then here order list. These are number lists like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, etc. And then unordered list. These are bulleted lists often using dots or squares. Here HTML, CSS like this. Third, description list. These provide terms and their description, like a dictionary. Here, HTML write, and here HTML description. Then CSS write here and description. Then JavaScript. Order list. Order lists are used when the order of item is important. The browser automatically numbers these items. For creating an order list, we use the OL tag, and each item is wrapped in LI. Example: open my code editor. Here OL. Inside OL LI. First item, second item, and third item. In the browser, this will look like number 1, first item, second item, third item. Attribute for order list. First type attribute. One of the important attribute in the type attribute, it specifies how the numbering should appear, whether it's we can customize the numbering style as per our need, like alphanumeric, alphabetical, and Roman numeric, like this. So here we look at this as well. For example, I can simply use the type attribute. Like if I set type 1, the list will appear as 1, 2, 3. Now, if I write it as type A, it will appear as A, B, C. If I set it to lowercase like type A, it will display A, B, C. Similarly, if I set it to Roman, it will display like this. If I write it to lowercase, it will show like this. Now, if I add more item to the list, like 6 item, they will appear properly. Then, start attribute. The start attribute specifies the starting number of the list. For example, if I write the list to start from 3, I will use start 3. The list will then appear as 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Similarly, if I want it to start from 6, the first number will be 6 and it will 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. If I write the list to start from 10, it will begin from 10 and continue as 10, 11, 12, 13, and so on. If I change the type to letter like A and set to the starting number to 10, it will start from J, the 10th letter, and display J, K, L, M, and so on. Now, moving to number. If I set to starting number to 100, the list will display 100 like this, and so on. Next, we come to the reverse attribute. This reverses the order of the list item. For example, if the list starts from 100, it will display 100, 99, 98, 97, 96, and so on. If I set the start number to 10, it will display 10, 9, 8, 7, and so on. In this way, we can reverse the list item. Now, let's move on to unordered list. Unordered lists are used when the order of the item does not matter. Unordered lists generally use small black circle maker by default. To create an unordered list, we use the UL tag, and each item is listed within the li tag. How we can visually this with an example. If we open our code editor, you will see that the list appear with a dot maker. This is a bullet point. Let me add a few more items to the list. Now we have item like item 1, item 2, item 3, item 4, item 5 and item 6. This is how an unordered list look with bullet point. Unordered list attributes. The first attribute we look at list style type. This attribute specifies the type of maker to be used for the list. For example, we can use a circle, square or other type of makers. If I use list style type circle, the list will appear with circle maker. If I change it to square, the list will display square maker. You can use this to choose whether you want circle, square, or the default bullet points. Definition list. A definition list is used to list term and their definition. We use the DL tag to create this list. Within it, we use DT to define a term and DD to give its description. Open code editor. Here, how it works. In the DT tag, we define the term. In the DD tag, we give the description or definition of that term. For example, if we have HTML as a term, it will appear as the term HTML, and under it, we would define what HTML is. Similarly, for JavaScript, we can provide its definition or description. This is how we can use the description list to organize term and their description in an HTML document. Nesting list. List can be nested within other lists, which is useful for creating sub-item within a main list. Let's look at this with an example. I have opened my code editor. Here, first, I have an order list OL, and inside it, there's another list. You can see the main list here, and then there are sublists. The nested list, so item inside the main list. For example, item 1 is part of the order list, and inside it, there is an unordered list with sub-item listed. We can change the list type as well. I will use the UL tag, and now the main list will have another sub-item. If I change it back to an unordered list inside, it will appear like this. Now, let's move on to style list. You can style your list using the style attribute and customize their appearance. For example, I am copying the list from here and adding a style attribute. I have used list style type circle and given it a padding of 20 pixels. Let me increase the padding to 50 pixels. Now, the list item will have 50 pixels of padding. You can also change the color of the item. For instance, I will change the color to pink. Now, the list item will appear in pink. If I change it to blue, the color of the item will be blue. Similarly, you can style list item further. For example, if I add a color yellow to one item, it will turn yellow. You can also change the list style from circle to square or back to order list as needed. This is how you can organize and present your content using HTML list. Lists allow you to structure your content in a neat and organized way. If you have any question, feel free to ask in the comments. Keep smiling and happy coding. Thank you.